Hey everybody, Andrew here from Pacific Coast Auto, running down the results of last week's auction picks. The Super Custom 82 RX-7 was unsold even though it got more attention than Derek thought it would. The high bid was $47.40. The Mitsubishi Starion sold for almost $2,000 under Derek's guess, going for $3,700. The results of the Subaru R2 were actually unclear. It was either unsold with no bids or cancelled, I'm not sure which one. The Fairlady 240Z did sell for $18,950. The results of the DR30 Skyline auction are also unknown. I'm pretty sure it was unsold, but I can't say for sure. The 2010 Camaro did sell, but it was through negotiations, so the price was not made public. The super low mileage right-hand drive Explorer did sell for just a bit over Derek's bid. It went for $29.10. The Stagia 260 RS didn't get as much attention as it should have. It was unsold at $67.40. The 82 Chaser did sell, but it was another negotiation sale, so we don't know what it went for. The Porsche 911 Turbo went for exactly Derek's guess. It sold for $104,350. And somehow the Silvia Spec R went for about 25% of Derek's guess. It sold for $32.20. That's going to do it for last week's picks. Now here's Derek with this week's.
Hey guys, it's Derek here, and we're going to go through the auction picks selected by you guys through our Facebook page coming up this next week. Now, we do have an announcement to make, and this is going to affect all future videos going forward, so listen carefully here. The auction company USS, which is the biggest one in Japan, they're clamping down on videos on YouTube and Facebook pages that are sharing their content and their listings, and they're trying to strong-arm people into not showing them anymore. Now, we haven't been contacted by them yet, but we're going to expect a contact from them if we don't cut out their auction listings. And so going forward, what I ask everyone to do is to not pick vehicles from USS auctions and just the ones from other auctions. This week I think we have some from USS, but it's going to be the last one. And then next week on Facebook, we'll put up that Facebook post and we'll remind you once again, no USS vehicles. We just won't pick them in, going forward. Okay, that being said, let's jump into this one here, and we got 10 vehicles from auctions in the next week, and let's check them out. So first one here, this is sent in by Jake Mello, and this is our thumbnail picture, and you kind of win the prize of being extra cool if you pick the car that then becomes the thumbnail. And we tend to pick cars that are going to get some clicks, so it's sort of like the clickbait of Japanese auctions. Just like the sexy girl makes everybody want to click on the videos, the sexy car also does the same thing. So try to pick one that you think is going to bring in the views, I guess. And so the C10 Skyline always brings in the views. Everybody seems to love this. It is not the very first Skyline, but it's the first one that ever got a GTR badge. And so the GTR or the lesser models like the GTX, like this one, they tend to be very sought after now, very expensive. This one actually has an interesting plate. It has the old style with only 2 digits here, the 55. Now they have 3 there. Kind of interesting. That means it's been registered for quite a long time with the same plates on it. Okay, so we have aftermarket wheels. I probably know the name of these, but I can't remember them offhand right now. Front lip is aftermarket. Fog lights that kind of suit the car. Fender mirrors that look like aftermarket. And then, of course, the awesome look of the C10 Skyline. This one here is quite unique because it says here it's a one-owner vehicle, but it's been crossed out. I guess the proof wasn't good enough to call it a one-owner vehicle. It says it comes with proof of that inside the car, but we don't know exactly what it came with. Nonetheless, it looks like it's in great condition as far as these go. It's an auction grade 4, which is amazing for a Skyline. Interior is B, exterior is C, but looking at the diagram here, the exterior looks almost perfect, just a tiny little spot of rust over here, that's S1, and then marks from the fenders being removed, so no accident damage, no body rust except for a tiny little spot there. Pretty impressive. The miles on it, the kilometers on it are pretty unknown. Let's see here. It's a 5-digit odometer, so they don't know for sure. It's showing 9,730, but this car is super old. It's 1972? Is that right? Let me check. Yes, 1972. I can do the math today. So 1972 2000 GTX, and here's an interesting thing. It has the original L20 engine, which is pretty uncommon because a lot of people will swap in the L24 or L20, mostly the L28 engines because they're way easier to get, especially parts for them. So if something like this breaks, then could be pretty expensive to fix this engine. So probably are going to be swapping it at that point. Okay, let's look over some of the details here. And so it has OER 45mm carburetor. So that's a side draft. I believe it's a triple carb, so one for every 2 cylinders. And I think OER is the carburetor that doesn't use butterfly valves. And if you could see my hand in the video, I'm doing butterfly valves with my hand. These ones are more like a gate, and so they open completely, offering no resistance to the air flowing into the engine that way. Stainless exhaust header, dual exhaust, Hayashi 15-inch wheels, and so there I don't have to actually be smart for you guys to know what kind of wheels those are. Front adjustable suspension, Mark 6 MK63 calipers. I don't really know what an MK63 caliper is, but it sounds pretty tasty. Chrome head cover. Okay, that's neat. I'd like to see what that looks like. Front bend. What is this? Front vented discs. This is the Japanese thing. It's this bench disc, but it means ventilated discs, because B and V is the same in Japanese. Rear, whoa. I wish I was better at reading. I don't know what this says. Alfindoram. I don't know what an Alfindoram is. Okay. Kameari point R parts. Kameari. What is a Kameari? Naoko.
Company name.
She says it's a company name, but what does that mean? Kame is turtle.
Yes.
Ari, so it means there's a turtle, is the name of the company? Don't know. Okay, so it has a Kameari parts on it. Chin, spoiler, and rear KYB shocks. Okay, that's Derek at his best, fumbling through that. Exterior and interior, original condition. That's very cool. I wonder if those fog lights are original condition. That would be pretty impressive. And something non-restored doors on the car. Oh, interesting there. An L20 engine. And okay. So fuel pump and fuel lines have been replaced. PLXAF Meta, so it's extra gauge inside for PLX something. Don't really understand what that means. Exterior has paint repair marks on it. Obviously, you can't have the original paint on a car this old and have it look this shiny and nice. Engine room color. Can't read that. This is one of those sheets where I say, "No, go help me," while I'm translating it. Usually, I could do better than this. Oh, she's actually coming over. Naoko, what does this say? Engine room color something. Chigai? Is that what it says?
That's so difficult.
See? Naoko is a fluent speaker from birth.
And
she can't read this. Well, maybe from 1 or 2 years old. Right? So it says engine room color something.
So difficult.
But I can't read it. It's messy writing. And actually, later in this video, we have one with super messy writing that somebody mentioned specifically as a challenge to see if I can do it.
Maybe just original color repairs, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Original color repaired for the engine room. So engine was taken out, repainted the engine room, the original color, like that. Okay, wow, we had a lot to go over there. That one wasn't presented as well as you would want it to, but I'm doing these on the fly, and so it would just take far too long to take a look at that and translate that all for all 10 of these cars and then have a better presentation for the video. I'm sorry, we just don't have the time for that. Okay, so this one, surprisingly, it starts at 6 million yen. Usually that's kind of GTR territory, but this one's in such unique condition compared to the average one. Probably top 2% of these left in the world. could sell for 7.5 million. That's going to be my guess on this one. And yes, people pay a lot for these old Skylines. Okay, thank you, Jake Mello. Now, Jake picked 3 cars. I have his all back to back. I'm going to go over this one just quickly. He picked a Mghty Boy, and he says, because Derek likes them. And the reason why I picked this one is because Derek likes this one very much, because it has pretty amazing wheels on there. Take a look at how stretched those tires are. And with the over fenders, this is just a really killer cool looking car. Of course, it's the K car with the trunk in the back. It's cool. Last week I went over this car in more detail, so I'm not going to talk about this one very much. I also spent too much time on the Skyline, so we're going to fly by this one pretty quickly. So condition looks pretty good. Mileage is unknown. Engine is 550cc, 94,851 kilometers. The reason why it's unknown is also this is a 5-digit odometer. Auction grade 3, interior and exterior C. Auction grade 3 is usually kind of bad, but sometimes not that bad. The body is really good. In fact, it doesn't look that bad at all looking over these. I'm not going to get into it because we're going to fly by this one pretty quick. I really want to own this car. I don't think I'd own it for a really long time, but I want to own it for a couple of weeks, minimum. Okay, and my starting price for this one, ooh, that's higher than I thought it would be, 450,000 yen. I don't think it'll sell for much more than that, so I'm going to guess 480 on this one. And wow, BAYAUC is covering their license plates. That's a new thing. USS first, BAYAUC next. I wonder why they do that. Okay, anyways, on to the next one, also by Jake Mello. This is your final one, Jake, so thank you for handing these all in. I picked this one because it is a kind of iconic car. What they did is they took a 4-door version of the Skyline and then put it on the livery of Keiichi Tsuchiya, which is known otherwise as Drift King, the guy who invented drifting as a sport and is famous for ownership of AE86s and was part of the team that put together Initial D. And so this is a replica of the car that he drove in Group A Racing Japan Touring Cup in the 90s. So GTRs killed in that racing series, and one of them that looked like this was driven by the Drift King. So very cool that somebody made one that is a replica of it. And just to show you what it looks like, this is what the actual car looks like. And I've seen this car in person because they have it at the Nismo shop here in Japan from every once in a while. So obviously this one is a official GTR with the 2 doors and is a real race car, whereas the other one is just made to look like it. But still very cool. Looks like the decals are in good condition. And when I first saw this car, I was thinking, I think that car's in Gran Turismo 2 as one of the special liveries that you can have in that race, in that game, pardon me. But I tried searching for it and couldn't find it. So if anyone can find that, let me know. Pretty simple but iconic design. People who know it are going to know it, and they're going to be like, wow, you're cool. And so there is that. Been in a pretty big accident. This auction does underline for anything that's damage to the frames. You can see a lot of it. It's had a full exterior repaint of black, which is not the original color of this. It's a 2-owner car. It has a ER34 rebuilt turbo on it, LSD, 300 horsepower, they said. Pretty rare for the sellers to say how much horsepower that the cars have. 300 is pretty cool. The original GTS-T had like 215 or so, 220, something like that. And so 300 in this chassis is going to be pretty fast. It's fairly light. The 4-door I think is cool in the fact that you have a car that looks this good in 4-door with a what kind of wheels are these? Does the seller say? Exhaust manifold. They look like Graham lights, but I don't know. There are a bunch of wheels that look very similar to these. Okay, very cool. 85,000 kilometers, 4-door, 5-speed, 300 horsepower, cool looking car, pretty perfect body. One headlight needs to be replaced. Do we have a picture of that? I wonder why it needs to be replaced. Front mount intercooler, AC doesn't work, and a bunch of other notes on here. Once again, I'm not going to get into those. And I could see this one going for 1 million yen. That's my guess on it. Okay, on to the next ones. And returning champion, we have kind of a feud going on between two of our people, Sean William Bellamy and Bill Courtney. This week, Sean wins. We've picked two of his cars and then only one of Bill Courtney's. Sorry, Bill, you got to try harder next week. So this one here, Sean William Bellamy, he picked this. And shh, don't tell USS Auctions that we're showing some of their cars. For some reason, they don't really want to be selling their cars, and so they want to shut everyone down. I might get in trouble for saying that. I hope not. Don't take our USS access away. I'll be very upset if you do that. Okay, so we have here a Dodge Challenger. And Sean said that this car with the original engine could be worth over $100,000. But I don't really know the value of these. This one was imported into Japan. Strangely has a serial number with a J on it. Weird. But this one is in miles. It was the original American car, I believe, and it's running a VIN number now that is a special imported car not using the original 17-digit. It's been color changed. I think this color was an original purple color for this car, but the original color on this car was different and then changed to this purple. They had some pretty wild colors back in this time. And take a look at this. Is that another Challenger behind it? That's really cool that the new Challenger and the old Challenger are lined up at the auction. And here's a little side. This is something really crazy. I bought two Land Cruisers. I've told this story before, but if you haven't heard it, this is pretty cool. I bought two Land Cruisers at auction, put the two of them in a container and sent them to the US. This is about 4 years ago. And those two Land Cruisers had one number different on the VIN number. So they were right next to each other on the production line. And then 25 years later, get to be right next to each other in a container going to the USA. The chances of something like that happening are just abnormally small. So, pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, mileage is unknown on this. Comes with a 426 engine, so that's 7 liters with lots of brum, brum, brum. Body looks to be pretty good. And lots of marks on here, but old cars, like this one here is 1970. They're going to have some things that need restoration. You just have to assume that that's the case. And so lots of marks on here. It has been in an accident. I think that, well, like the starting price is 4.5 mil. I think that this one will probably end up somewhere in the range of 7.5 million. Expensive, but not, like, collectors are willing to pay more for a better condition version of this car, I think. I think this would be a prime car to start a restoration on for a really high-end restoration, or you could just drive it as it is. Pretty cool car. Okay, thank you, Sean. On to the next one, also by Sean, and also USS. If you don't know what this is, welcome to the world of crazy cars invented by the EPA. So this is a Aston Martin Signet. And so basically you take a Toyota IQ and you put a different interior in it and a stupid face on it, and then you sell it for more money. Now why is this in a car invented by the EPA? Well, if you're selling cars in the US, then you have to have an average fuel economy between all of your cars as a certain amount. Otherwise, there's, I think, regulations that prevent you from selling more than a certain amount, or it could be a tax on it. I'm not sure exactly because I'm not from the US. But so the idea was find the most fuel-efficient car, put an Aston Martin face on it, and then sell it and hope somebody buys it. But nobody bought them, and so they're actually pretty uncommon cars these days. Now, I don't know how much their value is compared to the Toyotas. I don't remember how much more expensive than the Toyotas these were. I think Toyotas were somewhere around 1.6 million when they came out, which is kind of expensive for the size of the car, especially since it's not a K car. The Aston Martin obviously would be more expensive. 1.3 liter engine, auction rate 4.5A, 24,280 kilometers. Perfect body with a little bit of a misaligned part in the front, but it doesn't specifically say what it was. And wheels have scrapes on them, first time at auction. 2 times monitors in the car. There's, I guess, one here and then another one somewhere. And these are strangely 3-seater cars. Oh, no, 3.5 seaters. And so the way that it works is the driver and the passenger have different seats. The driver sits further away from the steering wheel where the passenger sits closer, and they have a full-size seat behind the passenger and then a super micro seat behind the driver. I think the IQ may not even have a micro seat in the US, but I think Japan does. Maybe. Don't know. Okay, they're front-wheel drive. They're ugly. I don't know how much it's going to sell for. It would be cool to... Wow, 2.7 is the starting price. Oh my gosh, good luck selling that. Okay, I'm going to guess 2.78 and just assume nobody's going to bid on this and that there's no reserve. I could be wrong. These could be strangely expensive cars, but if that's the case, I don't mind being wrong about this one. Okay, thank you, Sean, on that one. Next from Zay Wang, something pretty cool. This one almost made it to the thumbnail picture instead of the Skyline. So this is an MR2 that has a full body kit to make it look kind of Ferrari-like, but this is an official semi-Toyota product. And so this was made by a design company called Abflug. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but there's a design company named ABFLUG, and they took an MRS and then made them like this. And they couldn't have made that many of them because they're really uncommon to see them for sale or at auction. You can find them every once in a while. I guess the looks are better than the MR2. They're more sleek and sporty, but because they look like a Ferrari, it's kind of, I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. Fake Ferraris, I think, are really dumb looking. And so if you squint your eyes and you forget that there are Porsche taillights in the back, then, I mean, maybe it can be cool. It would be cool to people who don't really understand cars, and they'll be like, wow, you drive a Ferrari. But then, is that really worth it? I don't know. I personally wouldn't go for a car like this. Starting price is 1.8 on it. Has 34,240 kilometers. Maybe the previous owner was too embarrassed to drive it around that high mileage. Auction grade is 3, interior C, exterior B. Looks like it has had some replaced panels. Auction grade 3 can mean an accident damaged car, and so here we have a front inner panel, has a small deformation on it, and the core support has wrinkle in it. Carpet has cigarette burn, full repaint on the car, aero part underside scratched, blah, 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 blah. And, oh, by the way, this is called an MRX, in case you want to buy one, in case you're one of those people. Which is fine, you know, if you like this, all the power to you. It's just not something that I like. And there are plenty of cars that I like that other people aren't going to like too. Like that Mghty Boy. Okay, oh, color changed. No, full repaint, not color change. This is the original color. Okay, I think it'll go for $2 million. Seems expensive for me, especially since you can get the same model MRS for like 400,000 yen or like 3,000 US dollars for like the best condition one. You can get them for like a so-so one for $700. So, okay, on to the next one. We have another one from Zay Wang. Here's one I did not know existed, and if you can pick cars that I did not know exist, then you are extremely lucky, and I'm going to say congratulations to you every time. This is a Zagato Harrier. So Toyota Harrier is the other name for the Lexus LX? RX? Oh shoot, I can't remember what this is called in the US. I've been here in Japan for 10 years now. So this is the Harrier in Japan. It's made by Toyota, but it's a Lexus in the US, and they don't have a Toyota equivalent for this generation. And this one is one, Mr. Zay Wang said that only 250 of these were ever made. So it has a wide body kit from Zagato on it, as well as bumpers, grille. Interior looks the same, maybe rear bumper, don't know. But it is really neat. I don't think that these are really expensive because if I don't know about them, probably not a lot of people know about them. 90,503, auction grade 4, interior B, body so-so, has some scratches here on one of the cool wide bodies. I think it's funny putting a wide body on a car that isn't sporty. You know, it's kind of weird. But then again, like the Mitsubishi Pajero Evo with the wide body kit on it is absolutely awesome. This one, less awesome. So it's going to sell for less than a Pajero Evo. Aero parts have been painted with a question mark on it. Looks like condition is pretty good though, other than this one scraped area. That sound is me dropping a shirt button that I found on the desk. Okay, price, I couldn't see it going for more than 350,000 yen. And which, that's quite a bit more than the Harriers usually sell for, I think. Or a good chunk more, at least. Okay, Raymond, you is the next person. I want to thank you for sending in one of these. I've been wanting to showcase one because people love these and they're fantastic cars. And we haven't posted one, I don't think. Maybe we have, maybe not. So, Civic Type R, it's EK9. Probably the best front-wheel drive car made in the 90s. It may be even arguable today. Nowadays we have a lot of really good front-wheel drive cars though, so maybe not. Don't know. Certainly something that you can buy now and you can feel rest assured that the value is not going to go down. So you can drive an awesome car, you can own it for 5 years, and if you keep it in good condition, it's going to be worth more at the end of those 5 years. And there are very few cars that can fit into that category, and it seems like a lot of Japanese cars from the 90s are doing that now. So 73,694 kilometers is really low, auction rate 4B, so it's a really, really good condition version of this car. So if you want to get this, you better get it. Engine room surface rust and corrosion. Yikes. I wonder how bad that is. This is the kind of car that you're going to want the auction to go and check out. And any exporter, us included, could have the auction inspectors go and re-inspect something for a fee and then answer your questions for you. So yeah, I don't know where these rust in the engine bay. I know if it's a Nissan, I would be worried about that, but it might just be like on the tray underneath the battery. And if that's the case, that's not really a big problem because those trays can either be replaced or can be repaired a lot easier than a strut tower bar. Or not strut tower bar, strut tower mounting location. Okay, front lip is cracked. You can see here it says A4 and crack. Otherwise, really nothing wrong with the car. So I think we'll see this one go for 1.6 million. Okay, starting price 1.1 million. Thank you, Raymond. And on to the last two here. We have Cody Sakamoto. Now, Cody, you shared just the links, and they were all marked as spam automatically by Facebook. Andrew went in there and unmarked them as spam, which is really good. But if we don't catch that, then nobody's going to be able to see your pics on the Facebook post. And so if you put the pictures in there, I think it helps, maybe? Don't know. I think that if anyone sees like 5 links, like you sent 5 cars in, if Facebook sees a whole bunch of links like that, they automatically think it's spam. Okay, so this one I was like, oh wow, it's a Silvia, that's cool. Oh, it's got a neat body kit, that's cool. And then realize after that this is a limited edition version of the car. And I think Silvia's only made 250 of each of their limited edition versions of the cars. They made a bunch of them for different things. And so I think that this car, aside from the wheels, is completely stock, and I know for a fact that the front bumper is. So this one here, they call it the Style A version of the Silvia. So Style A comes with a Ferrari-looking front bumper, and comes with taillights that are that have the body color inserts on them, and a leather interior, beige leather interior, with leather on the steering wheel. Looks like it's kind of rough condition on this one, and beige console. So it's not a lot of special stuff, but it is special enough. And I think the S15 is definitely a really awesome car, and it adds to the awesomeness having the extra bonus pieces that nobody else has. This is another car that I didn't know something like this existed, had to look it up myself. And so 2001, this is an auction grade 3, mileage is 114, 890 kilometers, 17-inch aftermarket wheels. It has aero parts, but like I said, those are original. Original leather seats, HID headlights, and let's see what we have here. Just going to gloss over this. Right front inner panel and core support have accident damage that's been repaired. Left and right sides have been repainted. Seat wear, shift knob, left electric folding door mirror doesn't work. But overall, looks to be pretty good condition, I think. Now, a Silvia in this condition will typically sell between about 900,000 to 1.2 million. I think that the specialness of this one and the pearl paint, the white wheels, I think the good looks as well, that's going to boost the price up for this one a little bit. My guess on this is going to be 1.2 million. That's right at the upper end of one that isn't the special model, but I think that because of it, it'll boost it up. And I only have the option of picking one price, not a range of prices, and so just going to pick the 1.2 on this one. Okay, and rear seats are just the standard seats. You don't get leather rear, otherwise it would boost up the price too much for this, I think. Okay, and on to the very last one, and this is Bill Courtney. He is a returning champion. And Bill, I think, posted this one as a challenge to me. He said, who wants to be mean enough to have Derek translate this sheet? So look at the sheet. That's messy. Now, here's the thing, is when you're browsing the auctions and you're looking for cars to buy, it's really easy to go, wow, a CRX. And then I'm going to make sounds of typing. And that's the typing that says, Derek, translate this sheet for me. And then send the email, and then don't even think about that. And then I get the sheet, and I'm like, whoa, somebody actually wants to buy this car? Look at all the marks on the diagram. Look at all the marks here. Look at the messy writing. Now, this kind of car screams low-quality car. And it's fine if you want to buy a low-quality car, but I think that a lot of people kind of get excited when they see cars that they really like, especially CRXs are pretty rare now. Especially the best model of them, the SIR with the B16 engine, 160 horsepower. And so I'm going to translate the entire sheet, so if you're really bored with hearing the translation, you can click off the video now, but here we go. This is exactly what I will type for this one if I was typing this to the customer. So 1991 CRX SIR 1600cc, auction grade R, interior D, exterior C. 106,773 kilometers, original black, 5-speed automatic, no AC, power steering, power windows. Normal roof, and so normal roof means the steel roof, not usually, sometimes the SIR comes with a glass roof. Aftermarket exhaust, strengthened clutch, and LSD from Cusco, front and rear tower bars, 2-seater version. Japanese had 2-seaters and 4-seaters. Spare key comes with it. Aftermarket seat for the driver. Aftermarket computer. Aftermarket suspension. Stainless mesh brake hoses. Interior dirty. Interior hole. Now usually that hole is this kind of hole. Like the audio has been removed and there's a hole. Okay, interior wear, interior liner rip, door mirror, electric folding, doesn't work. Audio has been removed, leaving a hole. Carpet and interior liners have been removed. Headlights are cloudy. Dashboard has a crack or tear in it and screw holes. Aftermarket wheels and door mirrors scratched. End panel and right rear side member deformed and bent. Engine oil leak. Roll cage, holes from a roll cage previously being in this car. That could be an issue with rust in the future if not treated properly. Core support, right front inner panel, deformed, dented, bent. Various scratches, dents, repairs, paint peeling. And then looking at the body here, hood, front bumper, roof, paint peeling. Paint peeling on the right side door, paint peeling on the rear haunch. That's a weird word. S2, which is rust, and paint peeling on the front fender. S1 is rust here as well. A3 and paint fade, and S2 on the back fender here. S1 on the back fender here. Paint cracks on the back bumper in a couple of places. So that's the full and everything translation. People still love these cars. The condition, it needs a repaint, it needs some rust repair, and it is not in that great of condition, but these cars make everybody super giddy, and including myself, but I don't think that I would pay as much as other people want to pay for this. And so I think that this one will sell for 400,000 yen. Oh, that seems a little bit low, even though it's not that good. 480,000 yen. On this one is going to be my guess. And here's what the engine bay looks like, and here's what the interior looks like with the rear seats removed. It looks like speakers removed and interior liners removed and strut tower braces put in there. And one thing here before we end, bad condition cars like this with this many notes on them, this is something I've mentioned in a previous video that went up on the channel, but there's a much higher chance that the car has mechanical problems if it's in poor condition otherwise like this. There's also a much higher chance that the auction inspector missed something because there's only so much room to write stuff on here. If this were any other car, I would expect them to say that the interior liner has been removed and that the rear speakers have been removed as part of the translation or the inspection here. Okay, so that's the end of the video here. So see you again next week. Visit us on Facebook. Make sure that you like us on Facebook, and then you'll see the post next week that says, hey, pick your cars. And then when you want to check the cars at auction, anyone can do this. You just go to this one here, auction.pacificcoastjdm.com, and then you can browse the auctions anytime that you want. Be warned, though, it is very addicting. All right, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.